Have you guys heard of the 4B movement?
Misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely.
Women on strike in South Korea.
Some people believe it is one of the main factors contributing to the fact that South Korea has one of the lowest fertility rates in the entire world right now.
Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation online.
Oh my god, it's been a hot minute since I've sat down to make a video. If you don't know, I've actually been kind of on my TikTok grind lately, which is why it's so nice to come back to YouTube. People's attention spans are a little bit on the lower side on there, which is fine. But there was this one video that I kind of wanted to expand on a lot more. You may or may not have seen it. It kind of went viral, which was my 4B video. Oh, it made some people kind of angry. So let's talk about it. So if you don't know what the 4B movement is by now, where have you been? Because literally everyone is talking about it, including people who have never even stepped foot in Korea. The 4B movement is basically a radical feminist movement. The 4 pillars of 4B is no sex, no marriage, no children, and no dating. And in Korean, those words all start with a B, hence 4B. And it's a direct response to women being unhappy with the way that they live here in Korea. And if you don't know, I myself live in Korea. I've lived here for 5 years. So when I kept seeing countless of TikToks talking about 4B and saying how the Korean population is going down, the birth rate is down in Korea because of 4B, I was like, what?
I'm so glad you asked. The 4B movement is a movement in South Korea right now where the misogyny and sexism is so bad that South Korean women have decided to opt out of dealing with men entirely. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration.
So I decided to make a video and just be like, hey guys, most Korean women don't even know what the 4B movement is.
Korean women have no idea what the 4B movement is, and we need to stop this misinformation online.
And I guess I started something because a lot of people had a lot to say. On one hand, there was people like Koreans and other foreigners living in Korea being like, oh my god, I'm so glad that you talked about this because I've been seeing those videos too. Anyone who's ever even stepped foot into Korea will tell you that the dating life in Korea is it's doing so well. If you are single in Korea, you will feel the most single ever because you go outside, you will see a couple everywhere. Christmas is a couple holiday. Valentine's Day, you cannot go in any restaurant, you cannot go in any cafe completely full of couples. So to anyone who has eyes and who has been to Korea, is living in Korea, they will tell you, 4B isn't this huge movement that everyone is partaking. Now, that's not to say that there isn't an issue with the fertility rate because it is going down. And then there was a response that really shocked me. Other women being so hateful because apparently I was being a pick-me. And just a reminder, what a pick-me is someone who puts other women down to make themselves look better to men. Nothing that I said in my video, mind you, I didn't give my opinion. All I said was factual information, which is, it's not as widespread as it's being made to believe online by Western media and Western creators who don't live in Korea and have never been to Korea.
When you search up the term on TikTok, you will not see one single Korean person being like, yes, this is me right now. This is me. I'm 4B. As someone who has lived in Korea for 4 years, the first and only time I've ever heard about this movement is from TikTok, from Western creators. I asked my Korean friends hey, what do you think about the 4B movement? They literally told me, I don't know what that is.
I even got comments saying, oh, the red pill men are gonna take this and run, you gave them ammunition. And it's no, I didn't. You gave red pill men ammunition for spreading a false narrative. You would rather not admit that you are wrong just because you don't want red pill men to feel like they've won in some sense. So yeah, most of the reasons why people are not having children is because one of the many reasons is because it's just so expensive. Wages and the inflation rate it's not matching. The math isn't mathing. And I completely understand why people don't want that. The work culture in Korea is crazy. This topic deserves its own video, but even just like legislation such as anti-discrimination laws does not exist. So legally, if you are a woman, your boss can literally ask you before he hires you, hey, are you planning on having children anytime soon? And if you say yes, you probably won't get the job because they'll feel like you'll take maternity leave and then bounce and raise your family. If this whole thing about everyone's doing 4B was true, then you wouldn't be seeing couples. Take me, for example. I do not want children. Technically, I'm participating in one aspect of the 4B movement. That doesn't mean I'm practicing 4B because I'm dating. Like, just because I'm practicing one aspect of the 4B movement does not make me part of the 4B movement. Same with Korean people, right? According to these people, like, no one's dating, right? Everyone's doing 4B. Take a walk outside. Go to like a trendy cafe. Go to a date spot and you will see couples everywhere. I hope I'm making sense because the people on TikTok did not understand this argument. Now let's address the pick me allegations. I don't understand this because I am so pro-woman, so feminist. Like, if doing 4B is what you think is best for you, by all means, do it. I think it's sad that some people feel like that is the last resort by just removing themselves from everything because we are social animals. But if that's what you want to do, then I will support you. Factually speaking, the 4B movement is a fringe movement. And I think it's very interesting because at the same time that my video was viral, one of my friends did a street interview and he went around and he was like, oh, do you know about the 4B movement? To Korean women, right? On the streets of Korea.
혹시 그 4B movement 혹시 알고 계신가요?
절대 말이 안 되고
그거에 대해서 어떤 생각을 가지고 있나요?
자연스럽게 많은 사람들을 만나다 보면 사랑에 빠지는 거 당연할 거고 사랑에 빠지면은 당연히 섹스도 할 거고 그리고 결혼도 하게 될 거고 그냥 솔직하게 자연의 순리라고 생각해요. 근데 그거를 자기한테 불이익이 온다고 약간 피해자처럼 말을 하니까 그건 솔직히 안 좋게 볼 수밖에 없죠.
Another funny thing that I found in my comments, because there was a lot of Koreans in my comments defending me, being like, hey, like, this girl is speaking the truth. Like, it's being blown out of proportion. I don't know why people want something to be true that they are willing to speak over the people that are living in the country that it's about. But people are literally telling me, like, of course, none of your friends would tell you that they're doing 4B. Like, it's very frowned upon. Like, girl, come on. Like, so now it went from everyone's doing it to everyone's doing it, but it's a huge, huge secret. And again, I'm sure those who are doing it are not screaming it from the rooftops, but to infantilize and like just gaslight these people like, no, you are doing it. I know that you are doing it. You're just too scared to admit it in the comments of a video. Like it got to the point where I was actually starting to get like kind of racially charged comments from feminists. All I said was, hey guys, it's not as wildly practiced as you may be led to believe. Yes, if you Google it, hundreds of articles, all written by Western media, okay? Isn't it interesting that you see no Korean articles talking about how everyone's doing 4B? I'm like really trying to fight these like pick me anti-feminist allegations. By red pill logic, I am part of the issue because I myself do not want children. I think it's too expensive. I don't like children by itself anyway. And I would rather just continue living the standard of life that I have now. The Korean government has a funny way of trying to solve issues that have been brought to them for years. Instead of introducing anti-discrimination laws or more support for DV survivors, more support for single parents, instead they're like, oh my god, should we just like send girls to school a year early so that they will be more attracted to older men? That's genuinely one of the proposals that I've seen. Or there was another one where it was like, we'll increase the amount of foreign workers coming to Korea as nannies to help families out. And it's like, yeah, that's all fine for like 2 years. And then what? Like, you still have like 16 years to raise a child. And nowadays, people are living with their parents even longer because everything's so expensive. Having a nanny for a year or two is not going to make a difference in the long run. It would not make me want to change my mind about not having children. And it's also very interesting to see all of these things being decided and proposed by men who have been alive the same time as like the Korean War. Men who would struggle to open up a PDF file. Like, that's insane. And again, you see it everywhere in the world, in the governments, all these people that should be in retirement homes making decisions for people like us. So in conclusion, I am in fact not a pick-me. And I hope I could convey this better in like a YouTube video. TikTok is the wild, wild west. People will watch like 10 seconds of your video and then make a decision based off of that. I think it's very sad that Koreans as a whole are going extinct. Basically, like, all that history, all that rich culture is going to be gone. So unfortunately, the 4B movement is a result of the issues that people face in Korea. Do I think it should be celebrated the way that it is? No, but I do understand why people would feel inclined to do it. To conclude, the 4B movement does exist in Korea. Most people are not doing it. Most people are doing maybe 1 or 2 Bs of the 4B, but people consciously and actually doing 4B, very, very small amount. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.